Hey, in this video, you'll discover less known tips and tricks for Amazon product photography to help you get more sales on Amazon. And today I'm accompanied by Kent Sundström, who's the COO and lead editor at PicBooster, which is a company that specializes in Amazon product photography, helps Amazon sellers get more sales with good photography. So Kent, man, could you please introduce yourself to us? Let's talk about photography. Let's have some fun, man. Tell us about your company. Welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm really excited to be talking with you. Yeah, as you mentioned, my name is Kent, and I run a photo studio with my brother at the point, whose name is Connie, and the studio is PicBooster, as you mentioned. The studio have been active for 2 years now. It was founded when my brother got the opportunity to work for a big Amazon FBA course owner, actually, and we heard from him then that a well-known studio at that time had a really long waiting time for photos for Amazon specifically, and that was a bit of an eye-opener for us, and we jumped on the opportunity.
All right. And since then, you're for more than 2 years now, you're helping sellers with their sales, getting them pictures.
Yeah, that's about it. We help them with great photos.
And you're located
as
in
good as we can.
Scandinavia.
Yeah. The studio is located in Finland. I myself is in Sweden, but I work remotely. So
pretty awesome, man. Thank you for coming today. It's good that we connected on LinkedIn and finally got to do that. Yeah, let's help the viewers with some cool tips to get more sales with photography. I'll ask you some questions, man, if that's fine, and let's see if we can kind of answer them. Again, it's like open discussion where, as I say, like you can just say anything. It's pretty cool, and hopefully let's add some value to the audience. And for those who are watching, we'd be glad if you hit the like button to help us promote the video in the algorithm. If you have any questions for me or Ken, shoot a comment. And yeah. So, man, like the first question I have for you is, for example, we're doing Photoshop for a product. We have sellers with different products here from different categories and niches. So, like, my first question would be like, how can we make the product come alive with the pictures?
Yeah. So my first tip for this would actually be to use real people in the pictures. Because if a product is just for itself, it can be pretty hard to see actually how it looks when it's in use. For example, it gives a realistic look of the product when we have a person in there using it. So I think that's a really good way to have it, to give it a good view.
So like to add a real person to showcase the product in use with emotions in wherever it is to be used by the potential buyer, right? If that's what you mean.
Yeah, that's right. And of course you can have different ideas on this, but that's something you discuss with the studio then to come up with a great idea and lifestyle scenery and stuff like that.
So for example, if I'm a surfer and I'm selling a surf, right, and a surfboard, like I'm now in the Hawaii, which actually not, but I'm just using this. So for example, if it's a surfboard and maybe the audience is located for this specific surfboard in some location like this with palm trees, and we will make the photo shoot probably somewhere in the same area, right? Because our target audience is probably, that's what they're looking for, thinking about, right?
Yeah, that's totally right. To use the right scenery for the product you're selling.
And then if somebody contacts you, you as a studio can recommend them what you think. For example, because some people, maybe newer sellers, or not necessarily, they might be like, hey, I'm not sure. Like I have this product, for example, whatever that is, the butter bottle you just used or a surfboard, and they'll come to you, and then I guess you could advise to them as well, right?
Yeah, totally. Or not, I guess every studio could do that. Help them if you're kind of new to the photo side, photo area, you can discuss with the studio and the photographer what kind of images you want, because you always can see a photo and you can see, okay, that photo, that's a photo I like. And it's all about communication with the studio.
All right.
And they'll for sure help you along the way with the images.
I understand, man. So, for example, we should come prepared with some images that we maybe saw from competitors or something we liked, and we can share it with you and say, hey, I like this. Can we make this similar design or something like that? Yes. Pretty cool.
Yeah, that's totally right. Because when you get an example photo, it's easy for a studio or for a photographer to get an idea. What do that guy like, for example. And we have actually on our website we have set up a kind of a basic questionnaire that they fill in when they come to the site, or actually when they purchase. And in the form we have a few questions, and after they have answered those, we can see exactly these are the types of images they're looking for. And then we can, on top of that, discuss some more to get the right details we need to shoot.
I understand, man. Pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, that makes it easier for the sellers, right? And Ken, man, I have another question. So let's say, how can we rank our products? Maybe that's kind of a SEO question. How can we rank our products higher with images? Like, is there some SEO tricks for this that you know?
Yeah. You could actually, there's a thing called meta tagging or metadata that you could put into your image file. And you should put in your keywords, actually, your listing keywords into the description of the image. And that way you could rank, get a better rank on Amazon.
So for example, if we create a photo, right, and then we go to the properties on the computer, right, right click or whatever that is, maybe it's different on Mac, I don't know, and then inside there we input the metadata, you mean?
Yeah, it's actually, if you want to do it yourself, you can actually easily check it out on YouTube and search for meta tagging your images, for example. There's good instructional videos on how to do it. But when we do it in Photoshop, actually. So inside of Photoshop, you're able to open the file information. You can easily there put in description.
And it's Amazon indexes these keywords, like it actually impacts ranking.
I've seen a few videos, people talking about that. Actually, it's not my idea. I've seen other people use it. So I think that's a good idea to get some advantage.
That's pretty cool, man. Well, I know that in enhanced brand content, EBC or A+ content, there you can actually, inside of Amazon itself, like add keywords to the pictures. But as for metadata for images, I know that you can do that. I didn't know that it can impact your ranking, but if it's an option, then why not try? Yeah, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, you could always try it. I would definitely recommend it. Yeah, I was just going to add to that. I was just checking today a video it was, I don't know, I think he had some kind of a consulting or advertising business, and he actually told us that they had tried the meta tagging for a few clients, and they could see that it right away jumped like 10 places just from the meta tagging. So
that's pretty cool.
So I think you should try it.
Nice, man. Pretty cool insight for for ranking. And Kent, what about Google? For example, we have these pictures, yes, that you create, and then can we make them rank on Google? So for example, to get more exposure for Amazon product, I believe through Google, is there a way, or how is it done? Do you know?
Yeah, so that's basically kind of the same thing. You could put it's a meta tag. You could also, when you, for example, now inside Photoshop, you could write your product name, the name of your product, as a title of the image. So when you do that, for example, let's say someone is searching for a water bottle, and that way it could show up directly on Google search. So that would be a great way to drive some traffic to your listing.
So in the metadata of the picture, you can actually use maybe even, as you mentioned, the title itself, right? So if, for example, your product is a surfboard, so it's like surfboard for beginner surfers, for example, you put it inside the metadata and then it will index on Google, perhaps, probably, right?
Yeah. So there's basically, for Google, you should put it on the title, and when with the keywords you should put them in the description part. If you want to rank on Amazon search, you should use the description part, and in that box you should put in your keywords. But on Google, you should put it in the title. So there's different boxes inside, let's say Photoshop. Yes. There's different boxes. One is called title and one is called description.
So would you technically recommend then the title, copying the title of the product then? For example, if we have the title of the product on Amazon, copy it to the title part metadata in the metadata part, right?
Yeah. You should copy your product name and then insert it to the title name of that specific image. Then I would definitely try it out. Every possibility is a chance to get more traffic.
Definitely, and Amazon loves Google traffic. If you have some sort of traffic coming from outside to the inside of Amazon, it always works well, man. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, man. And Kent, what if you, let's say this question, what is the best way to show the benefits or information of a product on photography? Like, what would you recommend?
Yeah, so I would recommend to make pretty simple infographic photos that explains the most important features of the product, because it's much easier to get the important information to your head if you see it on a photo than if you have to read a long text. Because when people look on Amazon, for example, they always first go through the images, and if you have the important features there, they can easily get that. And yeah, I would not recommend to make it like really crowded, because that looks kind of messy. It's kind of hard to see what you're actually going to look at it if you have a lot of things in there. It should be pretty simple and pretty clear.
I understand. So, and I have a question. So, for example, maybe a viewer is listening now and he's like, yeah, but how do I know the benefits of the product? Or maybe can the studio find out the benefits? Or for example, if somebody comes to you with a product and he says, yeah, I want awesome photography. Do you, you said you have a questionnaire, right? Probably in the questionnaire, people will have to share with you what are the things they want to see on the pictures, right?
Yeah, that's right. They need to show us or share with us the correct information we need to put on the product, because I believe the seller itself, he should know what's the best features or benefits of his own product. So if he tells us, hey man, I want an infographic photo showing things, and then if he tells us that, we always ask, what should we put in here? And he could tell us like, yeah, it has different features. So kind of like that.
And you're advising like not to make too crowded pictures. And I think you're actually very right, man. For example, recently we had this product where we had the second picture as a very crowded picture. There was a girl, a guy, and some people in the background. It was very live, kind of a lifestyle photo, and this product was not given good conversion. Like the conversion rating was something on 15%, and then we kind of were like, what is going on? Like, then we understood that the first picture that people see after they click on the listing, after the main, is a very crowded picture, and the product itself was really small on the picture. Like, it wasn't even the people were not looking at it. Like, the husband was looking at the wife, and like, so you're definitely right. And this, after we changed it to a simple picture where the product was shown in action, okay, man, the conversion already jumped from 15% to 29. Okay, after removing this and just concentrating on mainly the product itself. Afterwards, we have the lifestyle picture, but that was a big mistake because we straight away blew a crazy lifestyle photo on people, and probably just they didn't understand what do we want from them. So,
yeah, you're totally right. I see a lot of, if you go on Amazon, I guess the photos are getting better and better, but I still can see a lot of listings having like, they look kind of cheap because that's they start to look kind of cheap when you add a lot of information and a lot of things into the same image. It gets too crowded, and yeah, it's not really attractive to look at.
So for example, would you recommend, if there is a listing in your products, would you recommend one picture, one benefit? You know, for example, if it's a surf, then would we show in one picture, you know, anti-slip surface, for example, and we will see the legs of the surfer on the surfboard, and that's it. We don't show 50 things on one picture, maybe one or two or like something like this.
Yeah, you could actually have a few more than I would say. This also depends a bit on the photo, how is it taken, what the product is, but I would say three, four could be in the same picture, but yeah, it really depends also on what the product is and how the photo itself is taken. Sometimes it's best to maybe have just one thing, but yeah, it's kind of an individual thing as well.
Yeah, you're right. Depends on product, on the situation, right? It makes sense, man. And is there a guarantee that a product will sell if it has really awesome pictures?
Yeah, so it's no, I would say no. It's never a guarantee to have a product succeed, even though if you have amazing photos, there's a lot of things that needs to go right. Maybe the competition is too high. Maybe you have a product who is too familiar to other competitors. Yeah, it's much more likely to succeed with better photos, but it's not a guarantee. So that's maybe you could keep in your mind if you, when you think about that.
So yeah, if essentially, even if you have great photography, you might still not get the conversions because many reasons. Maybe you have bad reviews, maybe your competition is very cheap compared to you, or a bunch of other reasons. So yeah, great pictures don't kind of guarantee success, right?
Yeah, that's right.
And if you had one tip to give that would guarantee success, not guarantee success, there's nothing guaranteed, but something to look very much for, like, what would that be?
I would say actually the main image is that's a pretty important thing if you look at one thing, because that's the one that's going to stop your potential buyers. And it's a lot of picture on Amazon, so it needs to stand out in some way. And for this you could try different pictures and see which one works best.
And which good tip would you give for a good main image? Like maybe you have your best kind of case studies in terms of like, so what worked the best for a main image? Like maybe featuring the box or zooming on the product or something like this. What do you say?
Yeah, so the first thing, actually, I don't have any numbers for it, but I just for what makes a good main image is that first of all, the product, you should use the maximum space possible for the white background photo. So don't leave out like a lot of white space. The product will look a lot really small when you scroll down on Amazon. And maybe we usually make them with the box. So maybe the product in front and the box neatly placed at the side at an angle. And we always make mirror reflection actually on the image. So it looks kind of cool to look at.
Yeah, that's a great tip,
So
man.
that's my suggestion. I would just like to tell you that the box could be a tricky thing to do, because sometimes Amazon won't allow sellers to have the box in the photos. We have seen that a few times, that Amazon complains that the box can't be shown in the picture, but then just change it, remove the box and upload another version and try with that.
Pretty cool, man. Yeah, that's true. The filling the white space on the main picture really helps a lot, like not leaving anything if you can. Yes, maybe it won't be possible for all the products. Maybe if it's a pen, like you won't be able to fill
Yeah.
all the, you know what I mean? Like if it's a
No.
pen, then, but at least then try to, maybe zoom it as much as you can, to, in terms of like, just make it fill as much as you can while still showing it as a realistic product as it is. And again, as you mentioned, it's a good point in terms of reflection. Again, it's something that Amazon might not let you go with it, but it helps CTR. It adds more premium look to that, in my opinion. We also do that, by the way. Yeah, we also do reflection, and it's a little bit makes it more beautiful and professional. And as you mentioned about the box, yeah, that's true, man. Sometimes I think it's in terms of service, they actually don't allow to add a box, but mostly people add and there's no problem. But sometimes they can come and say, hey, you can't use the box. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't really know what the reason is, because sometimes you can see a lot of sellers have the box inserted in the main image, and they are allowed to have it, but when you try to do it, they suspend your listing just because of that. But
and tell me, man, real life photography versus stock images, what do you recommend? Do you think stock images is worth it sometimes?
Sometimes they could be, depends. I would personally, I would also always go with real lifestyle photos. Actually, they make the photos look way more attractive, in my opinion. And if you know a bit about product photos, you can, in general, you could easily see if a photo is photoshopped. Most of the time, sometimes it could be a really good edited photo, but it's, at least for me, who have been working a bit with photos, I can pretty easily see if this is a real photo or if it's fake. But real photos gives more credibility to the brand. Actually, it makes it look like a high quality brand if you actually have real people using your product. For example, imagine Nike using photoshopped photos, lifestyle images. It would not look really good. Sometimes, as you told me, it could be an option because they're cheaper to get usually. So if you personally don't care for how it looks, then just go for the photoshopped photos if you want to save some money. But I don't say they work, but they don't look as good as real photos.
Yeah, I agree, man. We also use stock images, but mainly we are trying to use real people in our pictures. So we gather people for, if we need to make a photo shoot, we gather people, we gather the models that fit the demographics as well. So that's why I mentioned that, again, if the demographic is for a surfer that lives in this beautiful island, and the surfers, I don't know, very tan, and they're 25 to 30 years old, we'll try to get a 25 to 30 years old kind of surfer. And that's also maybe my tip for the viewers is, you should very much try to hit the demographic. And how you can do that, you can go and research it to see who's using the product by different groups that you might ask them on Facebook connected to these products. You can make Google searches about that to see who's using this, because then it's going to be easier for the photographer maybe not to the photographer, but to the photographer to hire the right talent, perhaps, right? And then it's just going to be good for you, because maybe the photographer will not exactly know your demographic. You'll answer the questions in the questionnaire, and they can give you some suggestions maybe, but yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to have some examples beforehand look a bit of what do I like? Is this do I want to show it off in this way or in that way? There's a lot of ways you could show off your product. It's always good to do some research first and bring up some photos to share with the photographer.
Yeah. Also, competitive research on Amazon itself can, maybe if people are using like real people with the product, then you can understand what's the demographics sometimes from that as well. Of course, if you have similar products that you're launching with the same brand, then it will be kind of, well, you'll know the demographic from Amazon kind of analytics, right? Inside the brand analytics, if you're brand registered, because then you'll see the ages and stuff like that. Yep. So that's very important. It just will make higher conversions, because when people see themselves inside their pictures, they just say like, oh, these people are like me. Like, oh, I want to buy this. Like they understand me.
Yeah.
Man, what do you think? Agency or freelancers? Should we hire an agency or freelancers, or what's better to hire? What do you think?
Yeah, so this obviously because we're agency ourselves, I will say agency.
Yeah, right.
But I would always recommend an agency because, and the reason for that is you have the possibility to create a strong relationship with that specific studio, and you actually have a much easier time to get your photos for future projects, product launches. They know you a bit, they know, and you know how they work. And you also might get rewarded for using the same studio over and over again, because you as a client is you're the most important thing. Without clients, they're nothing. So I think most of the studios will give you some reward if you keep using them over time. And when you hire a freelancer, it could be really hard to know what you get in return. I've seen a few videos when people try out different freelancers and then they pay them exactly the same thing, but the quality really can vary a lot. It could be great quality, but then also it may be a really bad quality. And a studio also has to deliver. If they don't deliver, it will hurt them, their image, the brand image. It will hurt them really fast. If you keep making bad work, you will run out of clients pretty fast. So it's really important for a studio to create a long-lasting relationship with the clients, and that's something we try to do at PicBooster, as we know what a big client can mean to us. It could really mean a lot to us if we can lock a long-term partnership with someone. Studios can also make mistakes. It doesn't always go as planned, but in those situations, we always try to solve it in the best way possible and help them and make revisions until the client is happy with the result in the end. So that's why I think a studio would actually, or agency would be a better option.
So, but essentially, what's the difference? There's a freelancer, somebody who's working alone, right? A studio or an agency, usually a few people cooperating together, right? That's the difference, right? That's, if I understand right. Freelancer is just one person usually that goes out and does it all, but studio has a few people with the dedicated roles that will provide a better customer experience, right? If I understand.
Exactly. Correctly. Yeah, that's exactly right.
All right.
Yeah.
Pretty cool, man. And let me know, man, Ken, for example, somebody wants the cheapest, like maybe somebody's on the budget, right? So what would be the cheapest way to get pictures?
Yeah, so the absolute cheapest way is actually to take them yourself. You could snap some photos yourself and then edit them. There's a lot of great guides on how to do this on YouTube in your home. Even though it may take some time to practice and learn, but if you're interested, I would definitely recommend to try it out for yourself. Especially when you're started out, photos could be a really big expense for you, depending on how you look at it as well. I always look at photos as an investment because they can give you a lot of money back if they convert well. So, but if you don't own a camera yourself, you can always lend from someone from a friend, for example. I would not recommend to use your phone because they don't really look as professional as with a real camera. But if you don't have time or the interest, I would recommend to hire someone.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think it's as you mentioned, it's an investment, and if you invest initially and you make a good market research for your product, you hire a good agency, you invest, it will be more expensive obviously than just maybe shooting it with your phone or something. But again, the how to say, the rankings you get on Amazon, the sales long term, it's going to be much better, like literally much better. So if someone asks me sometimes, I'm like, yeah, I mean, you can use the cheaper option, but it will not perform well over time. Actually, maybe it will. Maybe in some niche or something, a picture with the phone will, for some reason, outperform a great photographer. But realistically, looking at that, probably no. Like probably,
yeah.
professional
And it's
pictures.
also sorry to interrupt you. I was just going to say that it's also it also depends on how you want your brand to look. If you want to build a big brand, then I don't think it looks really good to have cheap photos because it gives an image of your brand. And if you're trying to build a big brand, then I would always recommend to use some professional studio to do it, because it gives you a much easier way to build up a real high quality brand with good photos that people see.
Right, man, right. And let me know, man. So, for example, a person created the pictures. How would they know if they're performing well or not on Amazon? Like,
Yeah, so you should look at your CTR actually. If you have a good CTR, you know that your images are working. But if you have a really bad CTR, click-through rate, then you maybe should look over your options, because try something different, change your main image to something else. If you receive a lot of clicks but no sales, then you should look over your bullet points and copy. Then you know it's not the images that is lacking. But if you don't get enough clicks, then I would recommend to change something, maybe the main image, or I would always start with the main image, because that's obviously the first picture to see.
pretty cool, man. Yeah. So click-through rate and conversion rate, I guess, as well. So if we are getting lower conversion rate, we can see maybe, as I had in my example, I wasn't like understanding like, wait, what's going on here? So I looked at my listing and I put on the buyer hat. Sometimes we have the seller hat, right? So I put the buyer hat for a second. Usually should put it for more than a second. And I was like, wait a minute, now I'm a buyer. I get inside this listing, like, whoa, what is this? This is messy, actually. What the hell is this picture? So it was literally a picture with 4 people inside it, which is like a lifestyle picture. And like, it was too much on the first picture. After this, okay, when they understood what the main product, like what the product is about and all the features, and then maybe we input the lifestyle picture, that might works better. But yeah, so my conversion was not good, and I changed a few things. My conversion spiked twice, and maybe it will go even up more. So conversion rate, click-through rate, we can check click-through rate through PPC on Amazon, because we can't see organic click-through rate as far as I know. Maybe if someone knows a way, then pretty cool if they can share. Or actually, maybe you have it through brand analytics, if I'm right, but maybe it's against your category. I don't remember in this exact moment, but through PPC you can definitely see. So again, you can change your main image, as you mentioned, Kent, to see if it's working better than this style. Maybe a box will be better, or maybe no box, you get more clicks.
Yeah, and also one thing about main images that I have discovered when working with Amazon Photos is sometimes you sell a product with a lot of parts. So maybe you sell some baking utensils or something that comes with a lot of parts, and I don't really like like going on when I go on Amazon and search for these products. I see a lot of pictures and they have all the things laid out in the main image, and it's like 100 pieces, in one image, and I don't know really why people want to have all things laid out. You should show the main product, or this is the main product, but I don't think I would not lay out every single thing. You could maybe put one of the things and then leave a few out at least, because I don't know, it's just something I have seen a lot of people do when they have a product with a lot of pieces and parts that comes with the product. You can always show those pieces later in the photos, but as a main image, I don't think it looks really good to have 100 pieces laying out.
I see what you mean.
It's
So
just
for example, it's let's say a mechanical set for a car, for fixing a car, and there are like 50 different tools inside. So people sometimes would put all the 50, and it's very complicated, right? You understand what's going on. Maybe instead put the kind of the main ones, and in your title you can mention that it has like extra others, right? But then not necessarily mention all of them. But I guess it's also category related, right? Maybe it depends. Maybe that's the way it's done in that category, or maybe in this stand out if you show less or more, right?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. Maybe it's some categories it works, but for me personally, if you, let's say, have a box or a kind of let's say you have some mechanical or some tools to use, then I would maybe just have the actual plastic box of the tool set laid out in a really nice way, and maybe one or two pieces that's in the box laid out in the same image in a nice way, but not the entire set laid out. But that's just my opinion, but it's something I have discovered when looking for, and also made a few photos like that.
Pretty cool, man. Thanks for sharing your insights today. And before we wrap it up, maybe what would you, it's not connected to pictures, maybe what would be your personal wishes for us here on YouTube, on my channel for 2021? Maybe something you would like to share, something like that.
Yeah, so I've seen your channel, and you are really active on the channel. I really hope that your channel blows up. I think you have great videos.
Thank you, man.
With a lot that I'm sure it helps a lot of people, because maybe sometimes you're completely new to this, and maybe that might seem like a small tip for you is actually a huge tip for someone else. So I think you have a really strong channel with a lot of videos, and I'm sure that will blow up sometime.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That's pretty awesome. And I hope that your, PicBooster, your company for photography grows, man, and you get more clients, and, you get to learn more about photography and have fun, man. And we're going to have the company details in the description. Also leave your LinkedIn in case people would like to contact you directly, if that's fine, right? And also leave your websites if people want to see your works. Gonna see what craft are you guys making there in the Scandinavia part of the world, which is pretty nice, man. And yeah, man, thank you for coming today, for your time. If you ever have some more stuff you'd like to share with us, you're more than welcome, man. Just ping me on LinkedIn and we'll create something.
Yeah, I'm really grateful that I got the opportunity to talk with you. It's been fun, and to anyone out there watching, I hope that this pandemic is over soon, that the world can go back to normal. Just hang in there.
Definitely, man. Definitely. Thank you, Kent. Appreciate that, and have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. Same.